Greetings, this is Naya with NNV News. So our NNV News Instagram page is still blocked from going live, so I'll be going live off of my personal today. And today I have the honor of interviewing Chris Cook, who is a New York photographer. So as soon as he joins, we will go ahead and start the interview. We're going to hear a little about his journey being a photographer and what photography means to him. Welcome back again, everybody. Okay. Welcome on, everybody. Thank you for joining. I pray that all is well with you. Happy Savior's Day, everybody. And while we wait for Brother Chris to join, wa alaikum salam, you all can go ahead and check out our NNV page, nnvnews.com. So that's our website. And everything is on the website. Here we go. All right, we are connecting.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. How's everything on your end?
Pretty good, pretty good. Can you hear me okay?
I can. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, perfect. So my name is Naya, Sister Naya, and I'll be interviewing today. Nice to meet you.
Well, pleasure to meet you.
Do you mind
can I have your name one more time?
I'm sorry. Sister Naya.
Oh, Sister Naya. Pleasure to meet you. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. No, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. Do you mind introducing yourself for us real fast?
Oh, of course. Hey, cousin. Sorry. I'm Chris Cook. I'm a Brooklyn-born artist. Born in East Flatbush, raised in Bed-Stuy. I've been using photography as my medium to document people around my area and also my surroundings as well too. The last project I've been working on is based on Black Lives Matter and just documenting just a series of events that happened last year. And it's a pleasure just to be here to talk to everyone on the chat and about it as well too, and also to meet you as well too. So definitely a pleasure and happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. So my first question for you is, what does photography mean to you?
Well, I felt first thing I'll probably say with photography, it's been now as a compass for me, to be honest. Photography was a way just to open doors. As a kid, I never used to, I guess, be the one to go outside as much or just to really explore my area. I usually probably been more indoors, but with photography, it's just it pushed me in the way to, uh, in terms of human interaction, and with photography, it's just teach me to how to also communicate with people as well too. Wouldn't say that I never used to communicate as a kid, but it just gave me the way to be able to talk to many different types of people and kind of hear their story and their outlet with it. A lot of times, from what I learned in my past experience is that everyone have like something or some way to want to just express yourself. And I feel like with photography, it gives those opportunities for someone to express itself as well too.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what art is.
Yes, that's
Be able
true.
to express yourself to these different things.
Yes, that's true. And it really started off.
I apologize, I received a call.
Oh, no worries. It's just really honestly with photography. It honestly started off for me just capturing memories because at that time, when I started photography, I was skateboarding a lot, and I remember just asking like friends, just kind of like what was a way that I could kind of capture like everything with our adventures and whatnot. And a lot of them recommends photography, and I really didn't really. I just took it as more or less a hobby or something just to pass by time. But as more every day I just bring the camera out, I start getting more interested. I started doing more. I started learning more and more about it, and it just became addictive a little bit. Uh, and I just kept going from there, and I truly love it. It definitely have changed my life, per se, and I'd say for the better, because it forces me to communicate with people I don't know, and I was able to, and I think this just fall back to just the camera is just as a compass with me, because I have met so many great people just walking the street, and just finding ways just to communicate with them is just truly a blessing.
That's, did you receive it as a gift or did you actually go out and buy your first camera? How did that
Uh, I think it's been a while because I've been shooting for about I think 8 to 9 years.
Wow.
And when I think I originally bought my first camera. So I think the camera I first bought was a Canon AE1.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said before, like I didn't really have much thought to it. It was just more or less, let me just get this and kind of see where it goes from there. And I don't know, it's just literally, it's definitely just the way that people is that um I really, it doesn't matter what camera I use, to be honest, as long as I have something with me, something to just kind of capture a little bit of history. uh that's what I truly enjoy the most. And sometimes I tend to use just different cameras in general, just so it could just stimulate my mind, just keep me just thinking more and more along the way.
Mm-hmm. So I heard you mention something about capturing history. And my next question for you was actually, what do you try to capture? Is there anything specifically that you prefer to capture, or do you
Hmm.
just go around and take pictures of absolutely anything?
Well, my main objective is I want to be able to capture the Black experience. I feel like for me, just as a young Black person living in America, uh, it's a lot of tension. It could be a lot of tension within living here. So I wanted to create, well, as I take photos and whatnot, I wanted to, one, be able to capture things that are timeless, to me. And things are timeless, that it could be from people I have met before, I met on the street, and some of them which I may know or may not know as well too. Uh, but I wanted to be able to just capture, whether that's timeless, whether that's something that's true within, like, I guess in a sense the best way to explain it is like I wanted to capture things that I feel like, I feel that it's just giving me the oomph, if that makes
Right.
sense.
No, I get it.
It's like when I take photos, sometimes it's one of the things where I take photos. It's like I put a lot of thought into it. I put a lot of thought and energy towards the photo. So it's like, I'm sure any other photographer will definitely agree. It's like, when you get a really good photo, when you just feel it, you just feel it. You feel that you can capture something that's truly important, or just revolution. It could be revolutionary, or just something that you feel that is something that need to be captured. And I think that's what really just keep me going, just mainly because that a lot of stuff I capture along the way, it's something that I could pass on to the next generation. And I guess in a sense, I feel like I'm a little bit as a time traveler in a sense, because the way I like capturing photos is being able to just showcase it and just show like where what's before, what's afterwards, or the process in between. And I really do enjoy, uh, one of those things I really enjoy when photographing the most.
Wow, that's really beautiful. And I can agree with what you said. You feel the oomph in
Mm.
it. I'm not a photographer, but I see that you're passionate about what you do. And I have some of my own things that I'm passionate about what I do. And it's just something that stands out to you and you're like, this is it. This is the one. So
Mm.
yes, I definitely understand that.
Mm.
Um, do you edit your own photos as well?
Uh, I do, but I think I shoot both film and digital,
Mm,
and I think if we're talking about film, I rarely edit my film shots as much anymore, and it's just mainly because usually I try to capture uh, wherever I try to capture, I try to get the exposure right and just make it as like that shot, if that makes sense. Um, Sometimes rarely I just the most I edits I usually do either film or digital is like I just move the curve to a little uh just so I could just edit like the highlights, the shadows, and whatnot. But usually I try to not over edit if that makes sense because the main thing which I want someone to see is the measures of the photo. And sometimes when you over edit, that could definitely get lost in the sauce if that makes sense. And I guess that's why for me, like I do typically shoot a lot of film, but I tend to like shooting a lot of black or white, mainly because with black or white, it gives you it's when viewers see black or white, they see a particular they understand what the particular mesh is. And color is great. I love shooting color too, but sometimes when you shoot in color, the meshes could be lost. And like an example of that is, let's say, good example. Let's say you take a particular color photo. Um, if everyone knows like a little bit of color theory, when a little bit of red is mixed into the photo, the first thing a human eye is going to see is the color red because it stands out. Depends on the environment, of course. But if you have like an environment which is like mostly blue or green, and then you have something that's red, the red is going to stick out more. So the first thing that human eye is going to do is go straight to the red. It's like kind of
right.
like the brightest thing, and then that could be used as an advantage as well too. You can still be able to shoot having meshes, but I feel that it just changed the game a little bit when you're shooting with color because it could just change up. Uh, it could pretty much just change the view of how someone look at the images and whatnot. But just follow back about just editing and whatnot. Really rarely that I try to like edit my photos as much. The most I do is just a curve tool here and there. But I try to like really focus on capture everything right then and there. So this way I don't have to do too much edits afterwards.
Right. And that makes so much sense. And my next question was actually about the black and white photos because I looked at your Instagram page and
Oh
I
wow.
saw majority black and white. I did see
Yes.
color photos as well, but majority black and white. So thank you
Yes.
for explaining that.
Of
Um,
course.
so I wasn't able to look at any of your films. I didn't even know that you produced films. Are there any that you would recommend for us?
Oh, when we say films, is it films in video or films as in film photography?
I don't know. You have to tell
So
me.
Oh, okay. So if we're talking about films and film photography, um, there's I shoot a lot of stuff in film, but it's kind of hard to sometimes tell through my feed like which one is film or not. The best way I try to illustrate that is I just add like a little bit of clues. Sometimes, like the last post I did, it has a contact sheet on it, and when you do film photography, that's one of the things that you could get um, from it is a contact sheet. A contact sheet in photography is pretty much it just shows. Let's say if you're shooting like one roll of film, you have about 36 exposures. So a contact sheet shows all the frames of all your 36 frames. So what's interesting with the contact sheet is that it's pretty much show you how, your overall flow throughout the whole row. And what as I mean with flow, sorry, I'm explaining it piece by piece.
That's
But what I mean by flow is just kind of like let's say within that row, it should show how you think, how you like compose each shot throughout the contact sheet. And that's one of the things you could get out of like shooting film photography. You can make your own contact sheet, and that's very important because a lot of times when I go through my own work, I always constantly review. I always review, always look back on my work, always just kind of see like where I could go from there. And uh, that's one of the elements that with film photography I'm able to like play around with, and there's so much more like you could do with film photography from there. And that's why I tend to enjoy using it a lot more because I'm able to explore and experiment as well too. Regarding film and video, that's something I've been keeping just under wraps. I had did a couple of films before, but those are more curated to as I guess very similar to my photography as more of a storytelling aspect as well too. I don't have anything to show at the moment right now because a lot of them is still in progress. Uh, but I have take like small clips here in between. The last video film that I have took, it was a really short video, and all it is basically showing the Black Lives Matter mural in Best Buy in front of the Bedford Restoration Plaza, and it's a really short clip, but it was just really merely just to show like uh, them just painting the mural and just how showing how the mural looks in just in the beginning. Now, one thing if those are here, but I'm gonna post it really soon. But another side project that I work on with that same mural is I took a picture of how it looks like right now. So I don't know if anyone here lives in Brooklyn, but or just in New York in general. But if you live in New York, you could see that now most of the murals that they painted is more or less destroyed, or it's pretty much looks completely different now, or it's just haven't been well kept. And with that little small project I'm working on, I took the after photo of how that mural looks like now. So I'm gonna put it together, and just to add like a reference as a time traveler, this is one of the things I like doing because now you're gonna show. I'm showing you the photo of like how it looks, how the mural looks like when it was painted, how it looks like when it's fresh, and then I'm gonna show a picture next to that to show like how it looks right now, and you
Wow.
see a huge difference of like and as I define it, like the murals is as beautiful as it is, and how it unified people together, it was only merely just a band-aid, just so people could just like, oh well, just keep them quiet and whatnot. And I think this would just help express that as well too. Like, hey, look at all the mirrors how it looks like right now. It's pretty much cast away, and I think that is just be able to just kind of show more people like, hey, the time I guess how like us as how as photographers we could utilize the medium to just actually control time and
Mhm.
show particular messages from there as well too.
Yes. So I just want to say, first of all, you sound as though you are a master at what you do. I'm sure you are, because you've been doing it
No,
for a
no,
long
no,
time.
no,
You
no,
can
no, no, no.
explain. I love your passion. It's just beautiful. Now, this project that you're talking about, is there a way that we can follow you so that we can see it once it's completed?
Oh yeah, of course. Um, so right now, currently, I have some of that work being viewed. It is in some of that work is in the gallery right now. As the gallery is called Willan Korat Gallery. It is in Bedford Stuyvesant. Right now the work is up to view on view. Excuse me, until tomorrow. I know. It's
Wow.
just I know. However, good news is that even though it's on view until tomorrow, it will go virtual until the next month. So
Okay.
if any of you guys still want to see it, I could drop down the website. So this way you
Mhm.
guys are able to view it as well too. Uh, Besides that, you can see more of my work and more about the project I'm working on through my Instagram itself, which is at visually VISUALLY underscore conscious CONSCIOUS. Yes, I have practiced. I mean, I'm so used to like saying it over and over again. Uh, and that's the best way you could keep updates regarding it. But if anyone had a chance, I definitely recommend checking out the art gallery to see like some of the work on view. And I think just it's very important, and it's something which I'm really happy to see because just growing up in that area, Bedford Stuyvesant, there was not a lot of black owned art galleries that was there, and I'm happy to see more is popping up along the way. Mainly because it's giving me a little bit more hope. Just so, oh, thank you, cousin. I really really appreciate that. It gave me more hope to just show like, hey, there is a lot of artwork as black artists
Oh yeah.
have is extremely valuable. And the thing is that the only way for us, I think, for us to realize that is for us to have black owned galleries as well
Right.
too. So be able to just show some of this artwork to be like, hey, if these artists could do that as well too, and especially I think that's a very important is reputation as well too. So if I and that's kind of what got me started into it as well too. And I always just like shout out like the Grace as well too. But after seeing a lot of work from like Gordon Parks, Jamel Shabazz, and so many others that I could name, of like my own skin color, that's what really helped motivate me to just push forward and keep documenting and keep photographing and just keep creating art in general along the way. And I always just love to just give them a shout out. But there's so many great things that I'm seeing, and I'm happy to be involved as well too, to show to be able to have a chance to showcase my work, and it's just truly fortunate of that as well too. But if and anyone who was in chat, if you ever feel free to have any film questions or anything photography related, feel free to send it my way. I just happy to just pass on the knowledge to the next person as well too.
Yes, sir. And as they inspire you and motivate you, I'm sure there are many others who feel that same way about you as well. You inspire,
Yes.
you motivate them. So yes, sir, please continue what you're doing. It's really beautiful. It really is.
Thank you. I honestly I feel. What's up, Sway? Sorry, sorry. I'm saying hello to a few people I recognize. Uh, right now, I really feel like what some of the work I'm doing right now is truly historical, and I'm just very fortunate enough to just I just saw the opportunity and just able to just give it out from my own viewpoint as well too, and it's something that I felt me personally that within all the years that I've been photographing, I felt that last year was definitely just a test for me. Uh, just with a lot was going on, it's just kind of just it was able to just give me a chance to be able to showcase with all of these things happening at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things that I wanted to just take from that and also be able to pass it on to the next.
Right.
And I think that's just all it's about. As I learn more along the way, I want to just pass it on to like the people that look like me as well too. Just pass it on to them as well too. And I feel like it's very important because it's so many ways that as not only like the grades motivate me to photograph, people that's just learning as well too. They motivate me to keep going as well too. And we all go within our own journey. But the thing is that you don't have to go by yourself all
Right.
the time. You
Right.
could work with other people to go with the journey as well too. And I just wanted to give another shout out as well too. There's a show on Whitney right now. It's called I'm gonna butcher the name. I think it's Kulonji. Uh, Sorry if I'm butchering the name. If someone knows exactly what I'm talking about, please post it on the chat below too. But I want to give out a shout out to them too because there was a strong example of like showing that how we as artists could work together. And yes, we're all competitors in a sense, but it doesn't mean that we could all work together to push our work as well too. I feel like
Right.
within the team we're stronger than we are separated.
Yes. I completely agree. Unity is definitely the key for anything.
Yes,
Anything.
yes, yes,
'Cause sometimes you're not able to do it on your own, but together
yes,
you can do it.
yes, yes.
Have you ever thought about having any classes, teaching any photography classes?
I do. I definitely
You
do. And I have did here and there within my own little I have like a little small darkroom space. So I have like in the past taught people how to do anything film related or I guess or anything photography related in general. I would like to and my next step will definitely be just investing into a bigger space so this way I could have more workshops along the way. And also another shout out as well too is in addition to talk about black owned galleries, there's
Mm-hmm.
also a black owned camera shop as well too named
Oh,
Photodom,
wow.
which everyone should check out as well too. And I definitely want to start doing more workshops. And I think in the future we'll definitely be working more with Photodom and the team to have more workshops out there because it really does make a difference. And I remember just growing up in Brooklyn. I remember like because originally when I did have like some interest in music,
Mm-hmm.
and just growing up in Brooklyn, I remember there was one class that was actually teaching us like how to like make beats and whatnot. It was dope.
Wow.
And guess what happened? The funding got cut.
Mm-hmm.
And from there it's cut. And because I don't have access at home to like to continue that, I eventually stopped doing that as well too. But imagine if there was more, it was like a workshop that's ongoing that kids could go to and just keep getting the experience and knowledge. I wouldn't, in that sense I would never knew, like I probably would be a producer by now instead of a photographer. But I think definitely I want to push that more along the way to start doing more workshops and start teaching more as well too. Because one of my mentors, he's he teaches as well too, and I think a lot of stuff I learned from him definitely influenced me to also teach as well too. And at the end of the day, I think one of the first like photography jobs that I took, I was assisting a photographer, and there was an old man, and we was talking to him, and it's a little side story. Hope you don't mind if we have the
No, no,
time,
go
but
ahead.
I always like giving this story a lot because it really truly changed my view of like of when it comes to like passing on knowledge or teaching others. But I remember like the old man was just telling us about his story, and he was talking about his father. His father was a doctor, and I forgot what type of doctor he was, but he has a lot that his father has a lot of knowledge and everything, and he was if in his industry he was well known, this, that, and third, and unfortunately he passed away. But it's very unfortunate that while he passed away, he didn't pass any of that knowledge to his son, his kids, and reference his son. And his son was just, as that old man was talking, he just felt like he regret not having a chance to just talk to his father and able to gain some of the knowledge that he that his father learned up to now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something where just hearing that, experience that, and just talking to him, whether I'm passing on knowledge or I'm asking someone to gain knowledge, I always just take the chance and just ask away, because a
Right.
lot of times that you never know, you
You
never
never
know,
know.
and knowledge is just something just it sucks that it could be wasted, but it should not be wasted. Uh, um, and that's one thing I'm a little bit afraid of. Like now, today day and age, a lot of stuff is not being written anymore.
No.
It's good that is more stuff is digitalized, but hard drive crash, things get lost,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I feel like books is still is key. It's very important to read and gain
Yeah.
knowledge of it. And to where I got up to this point, it's I have read books, like a lot of different books and whatnot, to learn more about photography and see like how I could photograph as well too. So that's why I feel like a lot of stuff I'm doing right now. What that's I think one thing that motivates me more is to have this knowledge I can pass on to other people, and I truly feel like it's this I think at this point is definitely that's my passion right now, to be able to just learn as much as possible and then pass it on to people who want to gain that knowledge as well too. Because I think at the end of the day, uh, you never know. People that you pass the knowledge to, they might come back and be able to give you stuff that you might not even ever know. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's very important because that instance, that's just how we as humans communicate. And I feel like that's a lot of that. I'm not sure how years later how that's going to be right now because with COVID and everything is
Yeah.
limiting our ways to communicate. But it doesn't mean that it's completely end. Like what we're doing right now,
Right.
virtually, we're we're communicating. We're able to pass on knowledge to each other, and hopefully people
Right.
on chat as well too. gain something out of it as well too. And that's why always like I always enjoy, like, I think that's what really got me more really into photography is always it's based on communication as well too. That's I feel like that's a huge part of photographing as well.
So, about that last that you just said, you said it's a form of communication. Is it because when you look at this, it's a visual something, but it also speaks to you because it's showing and telling a story?
Right. Well, there's two ways I could go about this. I think the first thing I'm best to talk about is like when how I shoot like portraits and whatnot. And when I shoot portraits, I try to have a connection with the person. And this could be like someone I know for a while, or this could be someone that I just met. But find a way to connect with somebody is the first way to really, as you photograph them, you want to photograph them so you could that you like someone else who don't even know them, but if they see that photo and they see their eyes, they could feel like, oh, I understand this person. So that's why for when it comes to terms of communication, I feel like that at that point is really I love doing portraits because I'd be able to show the person's soul in a sense from that photograph.
Oh,
Um, when it comes to like stuff, other things in between, let's say motion things in action or my surroundings, that is something I love showing, and I think it still ties with portraits, but it is, yes, telling the story out of it as well too. Um, and right now, like a lot of things I intend to photograph at the moment right now is the changes within my environment. Um, New York is going through like heavy gentrification right now, and things are changing rapidly. And just falling back on the time traveler thing, this is my way to just kind of like capture, hey, this is New York before, the next set and change, and it's inevitable. New York goes through many type of changes, like I don't know if people remember, but remember people used to be roller skating. There was skating rings out there and whatnot. There used to be, if you were in Brooklyn, you probably remember Empire Skating Ring, uh, and now you don't see that anymore. So New York is always tend to go through many changes, and that's one of the reasons why it's like I want to be able to tell different stories from people I've met and things that I have seen around the area, because you just never know how the next couple of months could be. Like, I mean, look at COVID. No one really expected, and now, I would like to quote my brother Jamal Shabazz, but it's now a lot of my old photos is like before COVID. It's just now it had that freeze before COVID, because to be honest, most people now I have been photographing on the street, they usually have the mask on. So it's just really interesting to see like now, how things are being portrayed now, because you never know. In the next few years, maybe after COVID, pass over, a lot of things that we don't tend to forget. Look at last year with Black Lives Matter. I guarantee a lot of that is now, it's just a couple of months, but a lot of that is really forgotten. And I think that's why with photography it's very important for me to do it, because uh, I, in a way, is able to capture stuff within history that it's kind of like a timestamp. Like, hey, this happened, and that's what really just keep me pushing, because like I'm creating an archive of everything which I have encountered, and since my experience is so different because it is a black experience, there's gonna be particular stuff I'm taking that's because it's my culture, and because it's like my own people.
right.
This is something that I want to document because and be able to show throughout the way.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Through
But
photography, you're just able to capture so many different moments, and in history, you'll just be able to look back and you'll see these photos. And you're like, wow, they just really show you something that maybe words can't.
yeah,
So that's so beautiful. Now, I do have a question. This
yes.
is something that I want to know. Have you ever been stereotyped because you're a photographer, or like a film photographer?
Hmm.
Like,
I have not been stereotyped as a film photographer. Hmm. I guess for that one, I guess I probably say no. I have not
No.
been stereotyped as, I guess, a type of photographer. Uh, well, maybe. And, like, I do know, like, if I walk, like, if I do my day by day just travels and walking around, and there are people who do like come up and be like, "Hey, you're a photographer, right?" And obviously, I always have my camera on me, so you know, I usually someone will ask like, "Hey, you're a photographer, right?" And I'm like, I grab a camera and like, yeah, I shoot photos, so yeah, I'm a photographer. Uh, but I guess so yes, that I mean that have happened, but I never have a case where um I guess someone pop out and stuff like, hey, you're a landscape photographer, and it's like, no, because I mean, guess how can you tell? I mean, and I guess the reason why is like nowadays everyone have a camera, whether it's on your phone or you have a camera on in your hand and whatnot.
That's
Every,
true.
I think in the sense, if you have a camera, you're technically a photographer. If you have something that can take photos, you're a photographer regardless. Um, Now, there's a difference between professional photographers or someone who do it as a hobby. Then I'll probably say yes. But the most stereotype I probably have received is someone stop me on the street and they're like, "Hey, this, that, and third," and I think that's good because I have like it happened a couple of times where just having a camera, and for me, the first thing I just comes into mind is just mainly because, well, first thing that comes to mind is just like, I hope someone doesn't misinterpret it as something else, because my camera is like all black and everything, and usually I have it like on my hip, or maybe I have it like in my hand and whatnot. So that's probably the most thing that I guess reverse count is kind of like in reverse, because the first thing I would think is like, I hope no one think it's something else, and that and just live in America, things could just be misinterpreted for uh
Oh no. I don't know what just happened, but I can't hear you anymore. Can you hear me? I don't think so. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. No, but I can't hear you at all. Can can anybody in the audience hear us? Can anybody hear anything? Okay. No. Oh no, I'm not sure what just happened. Brother Chris, can you hear me though? I don't know. Okay. All right, take your time. Take your time. This has been such a passionate interview so far. Oh my God. You can really tell that he loves what he does. He loves what he does. And that's what's so important, that we make sure that we love what we do. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what happened. But I can go ahead and expand on what I just said. Okay. All right, no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and expand on what I just said. Um, Personally, I don't want to just have a job. I want to be passionate about something that I can make into my life. I don't want to go to a place and just work there just because it's important to me, at least, to be able to love what you do and not just be in it for the money. What do you all think about that? You can go ahead and type something in the chat. Oh, here he is. But you all can still type something in the chat if you like. Let me see.
Sorry about that.
Oh, here you know.
I think what happened, someone called me through WhatsApp, and that just triggered everything off. So I'm back though.
Uh,
Which
no,
kind of
it's
sucks.
fine. You were just talking, and then I couldn't hear you. And I said, I don't know what just happened.
Yeah. Well, I am back, and I guess there's a couple of people that's spamming us as well too, because we keep seeing someone keep asking, "Are you married?" I'm like, just why are you asking a question like that? Just this is not how this conversation is supposed to be. But none of my business.
Definitely not what.
Uh, I'm not I'm not sure where I left off, but I know I was probably saying something about. Ooh, let me turn some light. I think the last thing I was talking about was actually I don't even know, to be honest. I definitely got distracted.
I'm sorry. I got distracted as well. I'm not quite
But I
sure.
think the last thing I was just was most likely expressing was just talk about how like my camera and how it's like it's all black, and
You did mention that.
it's just
Yes.
it's something that like just in America, like just seeing like the past, like and I hate like going through the names, but Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, and just countless of other people. A lot of times, cops use like really unions, police unions. Let me say police unions because it's not only just cops in general; it's the whole union. And they use excuses like, "Oh, well, we misinterpreted, this brother having like this, that, and third." Oh, you were talking about
A
reverse
call.
stereotype. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, yes, and um, that's one thing that like with me, like having like black camera with me and stuff like that. That's one of the things that I have thought about as well too, where it's just like, what happened if uh, I just meet the wrong person, and the cop
Right.
just automatically just draw a gun and just me because he just start like, oh well, I just start, it was a gun, it's all black, it's the lens look like a
Right.
barrel. I could just go on, but that's kind of the things that it's kind of like is as the gentleman just mentioned. That's like I have to think of it as reverse stereotype because in many cases, this is what happened. There's countless of like of my own brothers and sisters that uh, way mainly because it was just something that they misinterpret, quote unquote. So that's the only thing that I have started off like myself, but I never have like in the case where like I guess someone else like misinterprets something me, and I hope that's not the case as well too. But it's only the future could
Mm-hmm.
tell. But as long as I still have my camera, like I'm still able to document more and more along the way. And I think that's all that matters.
Yes. Yes. May you be blessed with safety out here, and I pray that you do not get stereotyped and someone believes that you're carrying something that you're not, or just anything. Um, I don't know if it's my
Mm-hmm.
connection or your connection, but you are going in and out a little bit on my
Hmm?
screen. You're going in and out.
I just turned the Wi-Fi off.
Can you hear me?
So that should be a little bit more better. It's on my own data and whatnot.
Okay,
Oh
there we go. Yeah. We've been facing a couple different complications today. I apologize for that.
no, it's all good. I'm happy to be here at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. We're so grateful that you were able to make it on as well. I apologize for just being so short notice, last
Oh
minute.
no, oh trust me, no worries. I think that's something that I'll just always enjoy too, and I think that's just talk, just communication, and just talk about either work or just whatever, and just whatever in general. And I think it's very important because there's ways that we're able to evolve as a human race. Is we have to know how to communicate. That's all it really is. And I feel that with a lot of problems that we have faced in America, is mainly due. Is part of it is mainly because we just don't communicate. You know, there's a lot of assumptions. There's a lot of like, oh well, this is that, and I have met people where I like honestly they were just like, you know what, I have thought about this about you, but you know, now that I have talked to you, I
Right.
have, you know, I definitely think otherwise, and I think that's one thing which, as you know, I mentioned a little bit early on, but when as I got more into photography, it taught me the way to communicate. And not all, I guess all, you know, depends on photography that people do, because some people do landscapes and never have to talk to anyone ever again. But for me, for the stuff that I'm shooting, I had to communicate with people at the end of the day. And even like with the last project I have worked on with Black Lives Matter, you know, I didn't just go to just protest and just document things and then just leave. I I find out. I talk to like the organizers. You know, I talk to people in the front line. I talk to people in the back line, or just all over. I even talk to people that wasn't in the protest in general. They would just happen to be around the area. But
Hmm.
I just, it's all about like that's. I think that's what really made this project really strong, was I was able to, is based on communication and talk to and just learn like just to speak to people and whatnot. Um, and I think, you know, that's why we was just briefly talking about like before, like that's why with COVID, honestly, I'm not sure how like the next generation is going to be now growing up, because they're everyone's forced to wear masks. You have to be away social distancing. You have to be like away from somebody from at least 6 feet away or more, and it's something that I'm honestly kind of scared to see like how like the next generation is gonna grow up, because just imagine growing up as a kid and you're in the pandemic right now. You know, you're already being faced with not being able to talk to people in general, or even be able to communicate. Your communication is slashed in half. So it's like
Yeah.
something that which I'm currently as well documenting as well too, is just like how are, you know, how is this going to affect people as well too. And I'm not sure how long this is going to go on for, but I do know that uh only time could tell, and I hope within that time I'm able to show like, hey, this is some of the photographs that I'm able to show as well too. Be like, this is because at the end of the day, I guarantee you, next years everyone's gonna forget about COVID. No one's gonna know about it, and like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, whatever. And I think that's something which I really do enjoy using photography as like a it's a key for me to be able to just show like different parts of history, because at the end of the day we're living more where we're present, and where we are living right now, we are living through history in a sense. We are living through history. We might not really think about it, but
We,
we are living through history right now. uh, and in a sense, that's why, like, you know, that's what really pushed me to go out and uh, document as much as I see, and see new people and see new places, and mainly because that I'm living within my own timeline. I'm living within my own history, and hopefully, and you know, once you know, it's time for me to move on to the next life, I will be leaving something that people will be able to view as well too. And I
right.
think that's what's really give me all the motivation in the world uh, to even create these images, is being able to just give give something back that everyone will be able to view, or the next generations, or whatever the case may be. But it's within just the archive that if anyone wanted to be able to see, oh, what's happening and what happened in 2020 or 2021. Oh, okay, this is what happened. And I guess that's something that I feel like is my role in this lifetime, to be able to have a leave an archive that people are able to view afterwards.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you just
Of
so very
course.
much for just everything that you do. I had to look more of your work of just the Black experience in total. I think it's very important that we do have someone such as yourself that
Mhm.
captures these moments so that we are able to look back. Because if we take a look back at our history, sometimes we don't have pictures and we're
Yep.
just like reading and we're just like, I mean,
Mhm.
okay, but I don't really understand. But a
Mhm.
visual sometimes can be just very crucial, very important to just understanding what's going on. So just thank you so much for that. This has been a wonderful interview. I actually want to book another one with you so we could just
Oh, I'll be
continue.
honored. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we can go ahead and plan. And did you pick your own date last time? I believe we were supposed to actually interview last week.
I don't think so. But I know we could definitely communicate more through messages
Okay.
up on the thing as well too. But I
Yes,
honestly
sir.
appreciate you hosting this, and I appreciate all the questions you asked as well too, and just happy to be able to just talk about a little bit about my work and hopefully to motivate people as well too. And also, just one more thing I just want to lead off is you don't have to be a photographer to document your own history. Document it your own way. It could be from drawing, painting, whatever the case may be, but having a way that there's so many ways that you are able to have an archive, and I think that's one thing I just want to push other people to do is like to create your own archive, because at the end of the day, it's up to us to do it, because if not, someone
Really?
else who have more power
Mm-hmm.
will put a uh will put you in a category, and I hate seeing that, because that's some of the stuff I seen looking through old photos. So that's why it's very important for us to like, we have all the resources, let's use it, let's use these resources, let's
Yes.
document the things that within our old communities, so this way when the next generation come in, they already know where we came from. And I think that's why I'm hoping to keep pushing forward to it, and be happy to also share this with everyone along the way that I've met as well too, or new people
Sir.
along the way.
Yes, sir. I'm just so grateful for NNV News because if it were not for NNV News, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
That's true. That is
So
true. Shout
NNV
out
has
to Mike.
provided, right, NNV has provided a form of communication for us as well. So again, thank you so very much. Do you want to say your Instagram page?
Oh, sure.
I'm
Uh,
sorry.
sure. So my Instagram is visually VISUALLY underscore conscious CONSIOUS. Almost messed that up. I also will just throw a comment down here as well too, because I'm pretty sure that I said a little incorrectly, but just want to just double check as well too.
Mhm.
There you go. Besides that, um, if you go on my Instagram, it will have all my other information there, and you get to see more photographs, like stuff I have documented in between. It's not in order, so just to warn you, it's not in order. It's gonna be all over the place and whatnot. But also, feel free. Like, if you have any questions, I took everyone in the chat. If you have any questions, photography related or not, you're welcome to just communicate, and just happy to just continue the conversation from there. And I appreciate everyone who's here right now, who's listening as well too. And look forward to talking more in the future.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you coming on. Everybody that's watching, everybody that's viewing this, please go check his page out so you could take a look at all of his beautiful works.
And
And
also the host itself too.
yes, sir. But all right, you have a wonderful day. I will be reaching out to you so that we can go ahead and plan our next interview, our next discussion.
Amazing. Everyone have a good journey rest of your night, and take care and safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you all for tuning into NNV News. Please subscribe to, I'm sorry, we no longer have our YouTube channel, but please follow us on Instagram, NNV News, and go ahead and check out our website, nnvnews.com. All right. Have a blessed day.
Peace.